Welcome to ProPractice, your guide to refine, enliven, and illuminate the piano repertoire. I'm Josh Wright, and today's video is going to go over scales, arpeggios, triads, and seventh chords for the key of, let's see, what are we on? C, G, D, A, major and minor. We'll go over the diminished and augmented triads as well. Each video, every other video, I try to do one of those four things first so that you can get ideas for those, as well as a unique way to practice. So by the end of this series, you'll have at least 12 or more ways to practice your scales, arpeggios, triads, and seventh chords. Since I did scales, arpeggios, and triads the last few times, I'm going to go over seventh chords to start out with today. Okay, so if we are in the key of A, all I want you to do is form an A major triad. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about right here, you may want to just go back and take a look at the key of C video, because that was the first video I did, and that'll introduce you to all these concepts, okay? But basically, we're just going to form a major triad from the key of A, all right? And you can see on this overhead cam the notes that I'm pressing down more easily, I guess. And then all I want you to do after that is just go to the octave. Triad with the octave, okay? We're going to go through real basically and go through and identify all these. Then I'm going to give you the specific way to practice today to help you get better at these types of things, all right? So drop the seventh a half step, A, C sharp, E, G sharp. That is your major 7 chord. Drop the 7th again, dominant 7. Drop the 3rd, that's minor 7. Drop the 5th, that's half diminished. I love that chord. And then drop the 7th, that's fully diminished. Okay, so let's go through those again. Drop the 7th, that's a major 7 chord. Dominant 7, minor 7, half diminished, fully diminished. Okay, and now I'm just going to tell you which intervals to drop. 7th, 7th, 3rd, 5th, 7th. So it goes 7, 7, 3, 5, 7, if you wanted to write that down just so you can remember. And eventually, you want to be able to identify these chords independent of going through them, because sometimes I'll say to a student, find me half diminished, and they'll go, oh, there it is. What you can do for half diminished is do a diminished triad with a whole step below A. For fully diminished, diminished triad with a step and a half below A. For minor, just do a minor triad, whole step below A. For dominant, you do a major chord with a whole step below A. Okay, and for major triad with a half step below A. Okay, so let's try that in left hand now. Here we go. Maybe you want to spread them apart just so you can see a little more clearly, because if they're right on top of each other, sometimes it gets confusing. This is just a triad with an octave. Sorry, messed that up. Okay, now let's go through all of the triads and all of the inversions. Okay, so an inversion is just a reordering of the chord. So if I want to put the A on top, this will be first inversion. It's the same notes, just a different order. Put the C sharp on top. Second inversion, put the E on top. Third inversion, and then we call this root position. I'm going to go slowly through these with just right hand so you can really focus on that, and then I'll play them quickly for you at the end. Say it out loud. Drop the 7th to go to dominant. Drop the 7th to go to dominant. Okay, say it out loud for me. What do we drop to get to minor? Drop the 3rd to get to minor. Drop the 3rd to get to minor. To get to half diminished. Drop the 7th to get to fully diminished. whatever fingering feels the best according to your hand size. Like for half diminished, or I mean for fully diminished, I do all 1, 2, 3, 5. But for like major, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 5. Sometimes you switch that fingering up according to how it feels in your hands. Okay, now for the unique little technique to work on. Today we're going to go over working with the metronome. And it's a little awkward to do this with chords, but it's also not a bad idea. Okay, so especially if you're more advanced. Okay, so we're going to go super slow. What we're going to do today, we're going to call it the 1, 2, 3, 4 method. Basically, you do 1 octave, 1 note per click, 2 octaves, 2 notes per click, 3 octaves, 3 notes per click, 4 octaves, 4 notes per click. Okay, you got to start really slow on these chords if you're not comfortable with them. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend this to start out with. Go through and watch my key of C, G, and D video for a little bit easier of stuff, but I want to do this. You can certainly do this technique with the scales and arpeggios, which we're going to go over in a little bit, and it's more user-friendly for beginners, but this is advanced for the chords. So we change it up in the video, so hopefully you don't mind. Okay, 1 octave, 1 note per click. We're just going to, let's do this for a major 7. I'm on metronome 4. Okay, now 2 octaves, 2 notes per click. So rather than doing chord, I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Sorry. This is not that easy, okay? Let's try 3 octaves, 3 notes per click. 1, and if you have a hard time, this is what I always tell my students. Say it out loud a couple times. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 40 is so hard to gauge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gosh, sorry, I'm going too fast. Here we go. I messed up at the end. Okay, let's try it again. Exhausting practice, okay? So it's really good at not exhausting physically, but just to focus on all those different chords and inversions. Again, that's tough, and that's on the minimum setting of this metronome. So maybe what you should do is rather than doing 1, 2, 3, 4 for the chords, you could just do 1 octave, 1 note per click, 2 octaves, 2 notes per click, 1 octave, 3 notes per, 3 octaves, 1 note per click, 4 octaves, 2 notes per click. So you're going 1 note per click, 2 notes per click, 1 note per click, 2 notes per click. So you're switching it up, and that way you can go higher on the metronome. So you could, if you were at 80, that would be, for 2 notes per click, that would be the same as 40 for 4 notes per click, which was what we just did. So you could go down into like 50s and 60s, and it'll be a little easier. So just to give you an idea, 60, 2 notes per click. That seems much more manageable to do 4 octaves that way. So again, the rest of this video, we're going to go over all the other things along with some other little small tips to help you get your triads, arpeggios, and scales. And there's an important thing that I'm going to teach you with arpeggios that you won't, that some people won't want to miss because it will make it much easier for you. So let's go ahead and move on to. Thank you so much for watching. As with all ProPractice videos, the first section is free. If you'd like to view the rest of this video, or if you'd like to learn more about ProPractice, just click on the link on this screen or on the link in the comments section below. Also, if you could like this video, share it, or leave a comment below so it can be shared with as many people as possible, I would truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support of ProPractice.